Hello, ladybugs. In this video, I attempted to read as many books as I could for 12 hours. This did take a while to create and edit, so I would appreciate it if you liked and would consider subscribing. Enjoy the video. So, we did start at 10 o'clock on Sunday, so we will begin for 12 hours, and that would be 10 at night technically. It is New Year's Eve, so I would be staying up late anyways. I have a list of audiobooks that I have borrowed from my online library and books that I have in my house as of right now that I own. There are some books I have read which is in purple, except for Shine. I accidentally put that on in purple. But all the rest are rereads. There is also a back page, so there is a lot, which are some of the books you see here. So we will begin with The True Crossbearers by Rufus M. Parker. This is a book about carrying your cross and what does it mean to do that. Although it was a small book, it gave me the motivation to continue and strive to the next one. Then I moved on to Be Fearless, Dream Like a Kid by Michaela Lummer. I'm sorry if I'm butchering the name. She's the founder and CEO of Me and the Bees Lemonade. I did read this in my living room, so there is no footage. Then I moved on to Alice in Wonderland, the 1865th edition. This is one of my mom's books, and it is in the classic version with all the original pictures. Then I did a few rereads, which is Fish in a Tree by Linda Front. I really enjoy this book. It's about a girl who seems to be struggling academically, but it's really not her fault. I don't want to spoil too much of it. It is worth reading, especially how the author just makes it feel like you understand Allie and everything she goes through, whether you have experienced it or not. It makes it very relatable. Right after, I did read Hello Universe, which is about 4 different kids who aren't really friends, but their lives all come together in surprising and unexpected ways. I enjoy how the author makes 4 of them with different personalities and are able to capture each of the different personalities without making them all sound the same. Afterwards, I did bring out my computer so I could start with some audiobooks. I began reading Death on a Southern Breeze. I don't know if this is cheating, but I do read books on time to speed, and sometimes even times 3 speed, but for this I am going to read on times 2 speed. It is 5 hours and 29 minutes as an audiobook. If I did have the book, it would be read faster because I am a fast reader, but because of the duration of 2 hours, it will be about 2 hours and 45 minutes for this book. Time update, it is 1:40. As I also listened to the audiobooks, I also read these comic books, 3 different kinds: Comic Squad Lunch, Comic Squad Recess, and Comic Squad Detention. Afterwards, I moved on to another spiritual writing, again by Rufus and Parker. It's According to the Pattern, which just goes through the different patterns that we see, the Ark, the Exodus, the Tabernacle, the number 40 in the Bible, the New York Church patterns for salvation, and finally a summary of it all. Then I move on to some old classics. Anne of the Green Gable. Immediately after finishing up the book, I picked up Hildy. At this time, I also finished an audiobook, and I started reading Stella by Starlight. I did start reading this on times 3 speed, so this would only take 2 hours instead of the approximately 6 hours that it would take. I did also have 2 books that were kindly sent to me from a high school teacher, The Art of Choosing and Happy Money, The Science of Happier Spending. These are both related to consumer behavior, and I didn't have a chance to read them over winter break, so I decided I would read them during this challenge. We also have this book, which I only read a bit on it, When Stars Are Scattered. This is about 2 orphans who follow on their journey at this camp, and they're trying to seek a better life for themselves. This is a graphic novel, and looking at the time, it is 5:20, and as of that day, I decided to call it quits as it is New Year's Eve and I didn't want to spend some time with my family. I subtracted 7 hours from that time, not counting the 20 minutes, and that was 5 hours. So the next day, I picked it up at 2:20. Either way, it would count for those 20 minutes. For the next part of the 12 hours, I started reading Beyond the Bright Sea on times 3 speed. This is 7 hours, but with the 3 hours, it would be a third of that. So going through my list, I did check off the ones I read so I could kind of see a little bit of progress, and then turn the sheet around to check the rest. After listening to that audiobook, I did listen to Echo Mountain on times 3 speed, which this is 9 hours, which of a third of that would be 3 hours. And finally, the last audiobook, which I didn't quite finish at the tip mark because it was just a bit over of the remaining hours I had, but I did listen to that while I finished reading Little Women, and then I picked up where I left off for the graphic novel, When the Stars Are Scattered, and that concludes the reading challenge for the 12 hours. This is my first time making these type of videos. I don't really know how to go along with these videos, what to include, just showing some of myself reading and telling the books that I read, but here are the total books that I have read. If we did count the Crow book, which I did, I have read a total of 18 books, but if you look really close, you may notice that the time is 5:04 and not 7:20 or somewhere around there. You see, I kinda cutted my reading time short as this was the last day of my winter vacation and I had some personal things I wanted to do with my family and I, some things we wanted to do and wrap up the winter break. So even though I may have been able to read just maybe 1 or 2 more books, in that time period I've read about 2 books every hour. If I do decide to do this challenge again, I will try to get a set time where I could do the full 12 hours, but just because of how it was and I am still in school, so that kind of limits me on how I spend my time. But I enjoyed doing this, and even though it was technically not 12 hours, I think I got a decent amount of books inside that time period. I hope you enjoyed this video, even though it wasn't exactly those 2 added hours. This did take a lot of time to make and edit, and I would appreciate if you leave a like and subscribe for more. Let me know if you have any topics you'd like to see me do. Until then, have a blessed day.